Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, which features interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, without further ado, I'll hand you over to your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, episode 117. This is your host, Holly Wharton. I'm here with today's special guest, Cordelia Francesca Brabbs. Cordelia is a magical mentor and miracles activator for women who are ready to reclaim their power, remember their magic, and get paid to play. Welcome, Cordelia.
Hi, Holly. It's such a joy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you as a guest today. So let's get started a little bit by talking about your background and your business journey and how you got to where you are today with your business.
Oh my gosh, it has been quite the journey. I originally, many years ago, I left university and I started out my career as a journalist. And that led me to having my spiritual wake-up call because I was working in London and I was completely stressed and overwhelmed and was having my soul sucked by London. So, I got my little wake-up call and I just dropped everything within a month. I left London and I left that job and I went freelance. And then I ended up doing some freelance articles and I ended up reviewing some holistic therapies. I went for a Reiki treatment and a past life regression and an astrology reading. And it was like the light bulb came on. I was like, oh yes, this is me. This is what I'm meant to be doing. So I trained in Reiki, I trained in EFT, emotional freedom technique, and I just started my journey and went on this accelerated fast track of transformation and just remembering who I was. And this would have been in the early 2000s. I don't know how you say that. Like 2001 to...
The turn of the century.
Right. That's a much better way. Yeah, so this is quite a while ago. So, I've been on my healing journey, and I've been like a healer and worked with energy for quite a long time. And I worked with some really high vibration healers when I was starting out. And I did a kind of apprenticeship with this guy who was kind of like Gandalf, like full on in at the deep end with all this energetic stuff. So it was very cool. And, not soon after that, I actually got some divine guidance to write a book on goddesses. So I followed that guidance and I ended up doing this really awesome oracle card deck and book for teens and 20s girls called Goddess Power Pack. So then my journey took me to Glastonbury, which I call Avalon, which is like its magical spiritual name. And I ended up living there and I was doing a lot of these goddess retreats and workshops with teenage girls and working in the goddess temple in Glastonbury. So I went on this sort of 2-year goddessy journey and I was doing a lot of speaking and talking at Mind Body Spirit expos and doing a lot of really cool stuff and being pretty visible in what I was doing then. And I didn't have a clue about online marketing then. This is like way back, sort of 2005. I didn't have a clue. So I always think I wish I knew then what I know now about marketing and things, but it was all perfect. And and I remember I was speaking on stages and I was giving these talks and I was really kind of talking a good talk, but I wasn't really walking the walk. And I really felt that within me. And I got to my Saturn return time, which is kind of late 20s, and just hit the brakes. And just as things was really starting to pick up and I was getting media exposure, I just slammed on the brakes and I ended up going on this really deep internal journey for 2 years. And I was broke and I was like externally in my life was just like, I was living with my parents and I was doing these office temping jobs for minimum wage and going out of my head with boredom. And I was really frustrated because I knew who I was and I knew what I was capable of. And I clearly just needed to go on this really hardcore clearing, healing inner journey. And so I did. And I thankfully came out the other side. And, I really had to put my foot down and decide what I really wanted and really get into my power and really dig deep. And I remember making this very clear decision one day and having this conversation with the divine and just going, hey, I'm really ready now. Like, let's do this, like, bring whatever I need into my world to help me get to where I need to go. And things started moving and I ended up at this internet marketing conference, like this really sleazy male, like, pitch fest. And I was like very naive and was just scribbling all these notes though, and it really opened me up to what was possible for business, like you could actually do things online. And it was still a little bit of a journey after that to actually come to the place where I could figure out, oh, I could actually do my healing work and do like teleclasses and have a business online. And I started out very small, and I was just doing these free by donation classes. I would maybe have, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 people who would just pay me $10. And it was, really starting very small, but it gave me the confidence that I could do this. And it just grew and grew from there. And then I had this amazing synchronicity where I started this little online radio show, and I think I only did about 3 episodes. I interviewed Catherine Diva. She was one of the people I interviewed, and I can't remember who else it was, but I reached out to someone who I'd seen posting on Facebook that she was doing a telesummit. I was like, hey, I really love, your stuff. Would you like to come and I'll interview you on my radio show and I'll promote what you're doing? And she looked at what I was doing at that time, which was this whole oceans of love thing with whales and dolphin energy, which I'm still very tapped into. And she was like, oh my gosh, well, I love what you're doing, and I still have one space on my telesummit. Would you like to speak? And I was like, yes. And it was amazing because the universe got my back up against the wall, and I literally had 3 weeks to set up my whole business. So I was there till 3 a.m. in the morning, so many nights, Googling on YouTube, like how to set up a shopping cart, how to do this, how to do that, and going through this intense self-taught, getting my stuff online. And I remember I had to kind of blast Ellie Goulding, like Starry Eyed was one of the tracks I just kept listening to over and over again, like pumping through my headset at 3 a.m. at my parents' house, trying to figure out how to do email autoresponders and stuff. So it was quite the initiation, but it got me there, and I did this telesummit and created my first online course, and that was it. And that was where my online business started. And since then, I've hosted a lot of different healing and energy activation teleclasses. I've done a lot of travel. For the last year, I've been living in the southwest of the UK, but for about 3 years before that, I was doing the laptop lifestyle, being very nomadic, and I did some amazing classes and events, and I've done some one-on-one client retreats from like super high vibe places like Glastonbury, Avalon, and Mount Shasta, Sedona, Hawaii. All kinds of crazy, amazing places, and had a lot of freedom, and hosted a telesummit myself from Ibiza, which is very cool. And so I've done all this very, very cool stuff, and it's just been quite a journey, and also really doing the slow grow version of business. I haven't ever done that big, huge leaping to 6 figures. Like I said, I probably started my business maybe 4 years ago, and I was more interested in really growing myself, really figuring out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And a couple of times, working in programs with these big marketing mentors and having people tell me what I should do and who I should be, and you should be a money coach, because some of my clients are getting these amazing money results, just unclogging the money channels. And for one client, we did a session, and the next morning she had $10,000 in her PayPal account. It was crazy. Yeah, like really, when you work with energy and you clear stuff out of your system on the level that I do it, it's if you get to that sweet spot and you clear whatever is in the way, I mean, it's miraculous. Stuff can just show up. So I was getting all these amazing money results from my clients, but I didn't feel like I was in the place again to be walking my talks. So they were saying, be a money coach and have this money business, and I was like, no. So I really put my foot down, and I never got sucked into that, really doing a niche that didn't really feel like me, and just stay true to this path of magic, and have done some really cool things the last few years, and that's been my initiation. It hasn't been so much about growing or expanding my business in a huge way, but for me it's been about really learning about magic, because that's who I am, it's what I do, it's what I help my clients with. And I really needed to go through that to really get to grips with how can you do things like calling in clients and making more money and doing things on your terms, in your way, and using your magic instead of the very old paradigm masculine way of doing business. And really learning that there's a different kind of journey in business for people who are spiritual, old souls, sensitive souls, more magical, a bit more kind of tuned into energy than some people might be. It really is a different kind of game that we need to play, and a different set of tools that we need to support us. So that's really been my journey up to now, and I've got to this really grounded place, and I've got some juicy things in the pipeline, and I'm having a unicorn oracle deck published next year by Blue Angel Publishing. So there's going to be all kinds of magic and wonderful, juicy stuff happening. So it's really exciting.
Excellent. So, Cordelia, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what your top tips are for how people can remember their magic and how this can really change their business. But first I wanted to ask you, how do you define magic? Because I think everyone has a different concept of what that means, and it's something that's very intangible.
I know, it's so funny. I wrote a blog post about selling the invisible the other month.
Yes, I saw that.
Because it is, it's this invisible, intangible thing, and it requires a lot of faith and trust in your magic. And to me personally, our magic is, oh gosh, I mean, it's who we really are on a soul level. We are these badass, amazing, powerful, divine beings of light. And when we are living from our magic, we know that on a deep level. We realize that what we see around us is not real. It's all this holographic kind of illusion that is an outpicturing of how we're wired on an energy level, what we're believing, what we've been programmed with. And I know a lot of people talk about, it's your thoughts and it's your beliefs and it's your feelings, a lot of that law of attraction stuff, and that projects out. But to me, with the work that I do with people who are definitely old souls, I really take it to that deeper level, and it's so much more about how you're made up energetically, how you're wired energetically, what you've been through in past lives, through multiple lifetimes and different dimensions. We've been through so many different incarnations, and that really builds up in our energy system, and it really plugs us into certain, I call them blueprints. It's like stuff around money or stuff around your self-worth, and it could be guilt that you're carrying from other lifetimes. And all of this really kind of clogs up your magic. So your magic is always there. It's who you are. It's this light, this power, this magic you have in your soul that can move worlds, create miracles. You can call in anything. We are just naturally abundance, we are joy, we are all these things that we spend so much time seeking outside of ourselves. But when we're free and we're clear from all that stuff that's been clogging up our energy systems, it's like our magic can appear in the world. It can manifest. We can call things in so much more easily. We can manifest. We can get into alignment with the things that we want. We just seem to upgrade our realities, and things just get better and better, and more good stuff happens and gets called in and stuff like that. So it's really just our natural, innate, inherent, divine ability to create whatever we want in our lives, and to be really powerful and free from all of this stuff we've been plugged into and programmed into. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And I feel like so many of us have this inside of ourselves, but so many people are either playing small, or they're hiding, or they're just kind of dimming their light.
Right. And this is what I see in so many people. Like, everybody has this magic. It's who you are as a soul. It's there. You can create anything, and anything is possible. And, all that stuff we hear ad infinitum in like law of attraction circles and things. But the real key that I feel people aren't really aware of is what is, like you say, what is stopping you from being in your magic? What is stopping you from shining your light, from being seen, from stepping up fully into your soul's highest purpose, your highest joy, from calling in, I don't know, what is really going to make you happier and really fulfilled and enjoy your life more? And that is that stuff I was mentioning, like lifetimes of energetic crap that has been built into your system. And you may have been plugged into, we get plugged into like the collective consciousness and all these old paradigms and these things that we've been told are the way things should be. We've been told that since, if you don't believe in past lives, it's like it's even in this lifetime, since you were a kid, oh, you have to work hard for money, or you should do this, or you should do that, or this is the way things are, or, it's not safe to have this, or people will blah, blah, blah. There's so much of it in our systems, and our journey back into our magic and into our power is just clearing this stuff out, releasing it, letting go of it, finding a way to dissolve it, but on a really deep core level. And I really see it holding back so many people, and it's for a lot of women, especially a lot of magical, spiritual, powerful women, it's really deeply embedded. It's this core fear that if you are powerful and magical and you're seen in the world for who you really are, that you are going to get cut down, you're going to get persecuted, punished, made wrong, even killed for your magic, because that has happened so many times. And again, if you don't believe in past lives, it's there in the collective consciousness. It's there. There was even an article in the Guardian newspaper the other week about how we do actually inherit into our DNA kind of emotional trauma from our ancestors. They were doing a study around Holocaust victims, families and generations, and that it was actually, they found that kind of trauma and that emotional trauma and the patterns were being passed down to future generations. So I believe that goes way back through, generations of ancestors, and we inherit at a DNA and cellular and genetic level, stuff that has gone on for our parents, our grandparents, and way, way back. So really through our entire bloodline. So it kind of seems really unfair, we come into this life and we've got
there's so much stuff to clear.
Well, there is, and but it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be oh my God, how am I ever going to get through this? Or, it's just, I think the first step is really this awareness of going, okay, so if something isn't working for you and you feel like you're stuck in your business, or your money's not flowing, or you feel like you keep shrinking from being seen or being visible, and it's driving you kind of crazy because you keep sabotaging or hiding out, the first step is just to be gentle with yourself and just go, hey, it's okay, because this is not really me. This is just this stuff that has built up in my system, and it's just this stuff that has caused me to be out of alignment with who I truly am. And it's just a journey of getting the help that you need to clear this out of your system and to really get it at a core level, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's really, really helpful, really can help shift stuff. And there's also some stuff that I find is helpful to a certain degree and doesn't go deep enough for everybody. There's really this level that we need to go to really get free from this, which is way, way down. It's this really core, deep level of this energetic stuff. And I see a lot of people who, and clients who come to me and they've done a lot of healing work and a lot of spiritual work, and they're still stuck. And it's just because, we've really got to get down to that core level of the deepest gunk. And it's like getting down to the linchpin of all of this. And if you can get to the linchpin and pull that out, it collapses so much of this other stuff and really, really helps. And and then I think the other part of this journey that's really good to be aware of people is just to go, hey, it's okay to be where you're at. There's so much pressure in our business world at the moment, 6 figures in 6 months, and you should be here or you should be doing this, and if you're not, there's something wrong with you. And I really invite and encourage people to step back from all of that and just switch it all off, really turn down all of that noise, and really just go into your heart and be, again, just gentle with yourself and go, hey, I'm on my journey, I'm on my path. It's okay for me to do this at my pace. And I know that the more important aspect of the entrepreneurial journey is how it is helping you to grow. What doorways and gateways is it opening for you to heal this stuff within you, because that's what your soul really wants. It doesn't matter if you're a 5 or a 6 or a 7-figure entrepreneur, or really what you're doing out there in the world. It's are you really listening to your heart and to your soul? Are you growing in the way that your soul is calling you into? Are you being able to step into your light and your magnificence and your power? Because honestly, when you do that, everything else will just fall into place. You will get that inspiration of what you really want to do. You will feel more aligned with putting stuff out there. You will find that clients start showing up, or people who could be clients start showing up, and it just gets easier and easier. So, really take that pressure off and just know it's, on this journey, and it's okay to go at your own pace and be gentle with yourself, because, it is a journey. It is a journey, and it's okay to not have to feel like you've got to do a 100-meter sprint and burn yourself out in the process. So,
yeah. So what are some other ways that people can kind of clear this stuff out and start to remember their magic and get in touch with their own inner light?
Yeah, I mean, I guess on a really simple everyday level, it's, really just connect in, do what feels good to you, to connect in with that. And, obviously find whatever books speak to you and read a little bit of something inspiring each day. You may want to have some kind of spiritual practice where you're doing a bit of visualizing every day, or you're doing, some affirmations or intentions. That's kind of like the very simple kind of everyday surface level. And then the kind of work that I'll talk about what I do. I work with an energy called the diamond light, and in essence this is just pure source divine energy. It's super high vibration, pure frequencies of light. And when you bring this into your energy system, it's like it does the work for you. It goes into where you need to clear stuff out. It goes into those deepest places. It's in divine intelligence. It knows what within you is out of alignment with your true divine essence, and clears and dissolves this. And the way I've been guided to work with this is we can go in and we can clear somebody's timeline of a ton of gunk in one go. I don't do that thing of, oh, we need to find this one lifetime, or we need to find this one childhood trauma, or we need to find this one thing. It's like, no, let's just go in here with this diamond light and let's clear your timeline of this particular pattern or theme, and, really unplug you from the collective consciousness and clear your ancestral line, your bloodline, clear everything you've been plugged into. I work with some fairly weird stuff as well, like energetic implants and devices. These just things that get plugged into you. There can be things like fear implants and poverty implants and guilt implants and stuff like that. And I also clear, one of the most powerful things I clear is lifetimes of energetic vows and contracts and oaths that you may have made. Things like poverty vows, or even things like in a lifetime where you may have been rich and you may have been killed for your money. I mean, God knows, you could have been in the French Revolution and had your head chopped off by the revolutionaries, And then at that point, on some level, you're just like, oh my God, it's not safe to have money, and I vow never to have money again. So there can be so much like that we're being limited by. So we really clear all of that. And, and again, it's a journey. I don't believe in like these quick fix magic bullets. Like I said, some people can have amazing miraculous results fairly quickly, but I do believe it's a journey, and it's just clearing layer after layer of this stuff, but doing it in a way that you're really swooping out like epic levels of this stuff. And it just really frees you up to be more able to more gracefully move into that power and into your magic and into your inspiration and into it just makes things easier. Like you find it more easy to take action on something in your business, or you find the opportunities seek you out instead of you hustling for them. And you find it more easy to do things like ask people for business or calling clients. It's just like it really just clears the roadblocks out of your way, like one by one, just getting them out, and it just makes things more smooth and graceful and easy, and and just elevates you. It's like this step by step elevation and upgrading into a better and better reality.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic. I think that's something that we would all love to have. So, Cordelia, do you have any women entrepreneurs who inspire you, or do you have any women business mentors that you've worked with that you'd love to share with us?
Yeah, I have a couple. So, I decided, I mean, like I said, I had the experience of going through some of those big, glossy, fancy marketing programs and, early on in my thing. And I kind of learned, and well, it took me a couple of times of getting my fingers burnt to learn, okay, I don't really thrive in those programs. So I started seeking out women who, were a bit more unique, and started talking to people like me who are a bit more, renegade. And, I've worked in the past with a coach called Stacey Nelson, and she is really fabulous. And she's, I think on her Work With Me page, her headline is Screw the Formulas. And she is all about, doing things your own way, not getting plugged into the cookie cutter systems. And she's just so loving and fabulous and awesome. And I know she's just had her book published. I think it's called Your Inner Counsel. But really check out Stacey Nelson. She is so fabulous. And then at the moment I'm working with Therese Skelly. And she's so wonderful as well. And I was putting out a call to the universe because I was like, I need a me. Like I need someone who's going to help me clear energy. And because I was coming up against some blind spots. And, and this is something I think we really need to talk about more. Like there is no shame for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're starting out or if you're at 7 figures. Like we all get blind spots and we all get energetic blocks and we all get stuff that comes up, like upper limits or whatever. So like all of us need help, and no matter how brilliant we are at our own stuff and good at helping other people, when it comes to our own stuff, like we really need help, because we do get blind spots and stuff we just cannot access, or we have those parts of us that are scared of changing, so they sabotage us from growing. So it's just like there is no shame for anybody in saying like, I need help. So I was like calling out to the universe going, I need someone who's going to help me get past this energetic stuff and help me grow to my next level, because I'd hit a plateau in my stuff. And and I'd been on Teresa's email list for quite a while, and just like watching her, and I was just like, you know what, I think I'm meant to work with her now. So I just, caught up, and it's been this perfect match, and she's really helping me clear a lot of energetic stuff and get into my power more. So, that has been so valuable. So she's lovely as well. I'm trying to think who else, and someone else in the past who I've worked with, Rika Zimmerman. She's this amazing consciousness facilitator. She's been going through this incredible like personal self-healing journey, and she's coming out on the other side, and she is going to be even more powerful. And yeah, she's fabulous. She's a light in the world. So yeah, I love her stuff as well. And I mean, there's quite a few, but those are in my journey. At some point, each one of those have really helped me have a big shift and a big breakthrough in a really huge way. And yeah.
Excellent. So Cordelia, how can other womenpreneurs who are listening to this work with you? What are the different options you've got?
Sure. Well, I mean, the first step if people want to experience something is if they go over to rememberyourmagic.com, and I have a free gift on my website, and this is my Reclaim Your Power meditation, and I can't remember, it's like 20-25 minutes, so it's a really good meditation, and this helps you call back in all of your aspects of your soul and your power that through lifetimes you have either lost, forgotten, denied, given away, had stolen from you, or because we really can have this. It's kind of an experience like your soul gets fragmented. If you have a trauma in any, whether it's your childhood or it's a different lifetime. And so you're kind of like through lifetimes and lifetimes, you're sort of given away your power in so many different ways, so many different places. So this is really calling it all back into you. It's really powerful. So you really are coming more into this place of wholeness and power and light within yourself. So that is a really beautiful place to start. And you can just go get that for free on my website. And then to work with me, I invite women into conversation with me if they want to do one-on-one work with me. And I don't do cookie cutter formulas. I don't have a signature system. I do different things. I like to work with people and see them each as unique. So I love to play and go, okay, like how would we best work together? And it could be, 6 months of one-on-one. It could be 3 months. It could be a magical VIP retreat. It could be, a combination of stuff. So, I love playing and I love having these conversations. So, that's one way they can get one-on-one support. And then I tend to do, monthly classes where I'll just get guided with a topic, and some of these, usually include a really powerful activation of light. We'll work with the diamond light in a group setting. So it's a really good idea if you're really interested in getting this kind of energetic support to, go get the free gift and get on my newsletter, and then I'll kind of keep you in the loop about my classes and sessions and things. And yeah, and like I said, I've got some really juicy stuff coming up soon. Can't reveal exactly what yet, but there's something in the pipeline. So there'll be something really, really good coming up. And it's got in from November time, so it'll be worth getting in now, and I'll keep you all posted on that. So and I just really excited about working with magical woman. I really love doing what I do. I'm sure many people listening get that feeling, when you're in your flow of doing whatever your gifts are, whether it's coaching or it's healing or it's design work with somebody, when you're doing what is your natural divine gift, it just feels so, so good. So, it's really, really a joy to do what I do, and so grateful that way back when I ended up at that crazy internet marketing pitch fest that got me on this path. Who would have known that sitting in that conference room full of men, I would have ended up doing like totally woo-woo online business.
Sometimes it takes experiencing something that's not for us to push us into what is for us.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, never judge the breadcrumbs that the universe puts onto your path. Like follow your intuition, follow your nudges, whatever, even if it doesn't make sense, like just go where you're guided to go, and you'll realize it was all this perfectly planned, divine, intricate jigsaw puzzle that's perfectly falling into place piece by piece.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you let us know where people can find you online, your website and your kind of primary social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So website is rememberyourmagic.com.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook, it's my page is Remember Your Magic, and you can find me, Cordelia Brabbs is my personal page. But yeah, and those are my main things. And Instagram, oh gosh, my Instagram, I always forget. I think it's Cordelia Brabbs.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, it's Cordelia F Brabbs. I should really check that out. Yeah, so if you look for me, I'm on Instagram as well. And yeah, I don't do Twitter, interestingly enough. That's one of those things where I just don't really like it, so I don't do it.
Good.
And I think, it's good to say what you like and don't like in your business. And I'm a Facebook and Instagram girl, so.
Good. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been such a delight. Thank you. And I really look forward to connecting with anyone who comes and finds me and gets called into unleashing their magic.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And thank you for listening. And remember to visit readytobloom.com/117 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Ready to Bloom podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's guests, including links for topics that were discussed at readytobloom.com. That's ready, 2, bloom.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave us a quick review of this podcast. Thank you so much.